Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com. And by Medical Arts Hearing Instruments, 52 West Street in Leominster. Locally and authentically providing better hearing and quality of life since 1978. www.donotshout.com.
Yes, it is. We're live tonight. Inside Leominster is the name of the show. Dean Mazzarella is my name, and welcome to our show. And so if you're heading downtown, we're had to cancel the Cannoli Fest because we have to call it Monday, Tuesday at the latest. And they said rain, and they said lots of rain, so we can't have all those vendors, making all that purchase of all the ingredients and then having to cancel on the last minute. So we need a lot of lead time. So we've canceled it once and canceled it twice. It is now going to be on the 14th, which is Monday night. All right, Monday night.
Monday.
So we're going to have a good time. And there's lots of people who are happy that we didn't have it tonight. I'm not sure why. They had other things they had to do. Monday seems it's Columbus Day or Indigenous Day, whatever you want to call it. And you can come down and make it any day you want, but the schools are closed, some work is off, and we'll be there Monday night. All right.
I hope if the bride is able, we'll be there. But
You'll make
I don't know. It don't look too sweet. We're still getting daily nurse visits, but we'll see.
Yes.
But
you got to have
on a brighter note,
you got to have something to work towards.
That's right. I had an experience 2 weeks ago. I hope everyone can have the same opportunity that I had. I took advantage of Facebook to look for some old car barn friends that I grew up with. I found one that I haven't seen in 60 years.
Wow.
I used to follow him around like a little puppy doing his Sunday paper route on it in his brand new Schwinn Gamache bicycle, and I had an old bone shaker that me and my dad put together. We found it in the woods. But anyway, he tells me a month ago I'll be coming up for my annual trek. He hadn't been up here in almost 60 years.
Wow.
Make a long story short, he grew up on Nickel Street. His name is Gary Fisher. And him and I got together with his wife, and it was just amazing looking at each other. And last time I saw him, I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And first words out of his mouth, of course, growing up in the neighborhood, they called me Butchie Bartlett. So he says, Butchie. I met him at the Palladium Bowl, by the way, because he wanted to go visit his folks at St. Bernard Cemetery. So long story short, he says, fried clams. I summer in Indiana, gorgeous home in Indiana, and I winter in Florida on the waterway in Lauderdale on my condo. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I need New England fried clams. So I took him to Kimball's.
Wow.
Once he got over the price shock, he bought the whole bill come to me, him and his wife. I think it was $75. He paid for it. Thank you very much. But it was a wonderful, wonderful reunion to see somebody that you saw 7 days a week, and then it's like they fell off the face of the earth. He went in the Marine Corps, and then he fell in love in Indiana, and he started his own insurance company, extremely successful, retired and sold the business, and living the good life now on the East Coast.
And imagine 60 years goes by, huh?
We said that. I said, Gary, what happened? Where did it go? And we started reminiscing. In fact, I told this story once a long time ago to you. I'm sure your recall will kick in about the little trek when we were about 13. I was rather, and they had a cultivated blueberry farm up where the old Kmart was, and we got caught taking blueberries one night.
Oh boy!
And the police came to the door on North Main Street, and then came up the steps, and my mother answered the door, and she comes and says, "Brother, somebody here wants to talk to you." I go around. He says, "Did you eat any blueberries tonight?" I said, "No, sir."
Thank you, Carl.
And the police officer starts laughing. So I said,
All around your mouth?
Not me." And he said, "Really?" And I said, "No. He says, "Mrs. Bartlett, do you have a hand mirror?" And she raised, of course, I got blueberry all over my face. So that was our little caper. I mean, who hasn't taken an apple off an apple tree? But I thought it was kind of funny. Well, he was one of the guys that was with me that got caught. I brought that up. He couldn't stop laughing.
Did he remember it?
Oh, he sure did, because he got caught. He's the reason the cops came to my house, because me and the other guy took off, and we outran Gary, but Gary got tackled by the guy that owned the blueberry farm.
Oh.
We didn't, there was no court, nothing like that.
Right.
What we did was we got a slap on the wrist, and he said, "I want you to go back and help cultivate, just work for the guy for a week." And that's what we did.
Wow, a good story.
But it was a lot of fun.
So you kind of always wondered where he went.
Yeah, I did. And then I found him on Facebook, 'cause like I said, in Indiana, his wife's in real estate. He had his own insurance company. And compliments to you and yours and everybody that works for the city. He said, "My God, I've traveled the world." He's been to Russia. He's been everywhere. He said, "I have never seen my town, Leominster, look so beautiful." He said, "We took a ride through town.
Oh, good.
We were on our way to Nickel Street, and he said, 'Let's go through town.'" He said, "My God, we took pictures," he said. I'm going to bring them back to Indiana and show everybody.
Good for him, huh? That's a compliment
so it
for
just
everybody.
goes to show you,
The
and
team.
It's true. It does look wonderful.
The team. We got a great team.
And are the rumors, is there anything to the rumors about Shaw's, what's going in there? The rumor being furniture?
Yes, I heard furniture. That came from a pretty good source.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because we really don't have one around here, do we?
Yeah, Garapi's.
Oh, yeah, other than that, we always go to Garapi's.
Right, I don't think there's one in Fitchburg anymore.
No, we used to have Bill's up there, Bill's Boo Boo Sale on Water Street.
Giordoni's.
MCM.
You had something on Main Street. Butler Furniture's still in business in Fitchburg, although they're on one side of the street now.
They don't advertise a lot.
No, I think he just does what they, whatever.
Yeah, word to mouth.
Yeah.
And I wasn't shocked. I said, "That's Leominster. Gotta love it." I forget the day. It was early this past week, or was it last week? Doesn't matter. The Summer Street paving, North Street, 4:45. I'm going in to get my newspapers, and there were the trucks lined up getting ready to pave.
Looks good, huh? North Street?
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
Looks good.
You know what? I enjoy going around all the raised covers. Like a little slalom with the car.
See?
I even got carried away. I was kind of, speeding up a little bit and stuff.
Having a little fun.
Yes. Yes. And one closing thought, if you think you had terror in your rearview mirror, here's a little visual. Just at the end of the on-ramp of 190 that connects to 290 on our way to the hospital last Wednesday, they told her we had to go back. Traffic was stopped, as usual. It was around 4:15, backed up. I look in my side mirror, and I see a car coming in the breakdown lane.
Yeah.
God is my witness. I'll bet that son of a gun was going 80 miles
Oh, yeah.
It went by, it shook my car. And I said, if anybody tries to pull out to get to that first exit on 290, that's where I was headed for. If that guy is going to clean them, and it's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
Nobody moved.
No,
Thank God.
My opinion, I say it all the time, I know texting and everything is a big focus, but aggressive drivers, they're doing
all-time high.
90 by me. And I'm not kidding. I'm doing 60, 65. They're going by me. and then they cut in front of somebody else, and to go where? Where are you going? You're not going to get far. Take a left.
Absolutely.
And what's sad is they don't get the accidents. They cause an accident to somebody else. That's the sad part.
Absolutely. Every day coming out of Gardner from golf, after the rush, I got people, if I opened my trunk, they could climb in it. That's how they're tailgating, flashing their lights, wanting me to move. Hello? I'm doing 65 on a 50 for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's aggressive drivers. That's a big problem. I mean,
certainly keeping
I can't believe
the hospitals busy.
I can't believe some of the things they ride in a breakdown lane, then cut across 3 lanes, and to go where? You're not. Then you look up ahead. They're not going very far.
No. And tonight, Gronk makes his debut on Fox News.
Yeah,
Fox Sports.
That ought to be fun, huh?
You know what? I'm going to stay up just to watch that. I think it's going to be cool.
And Brady's playing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you know what's coming up in about, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? The election.
That's right. That's right.
Remember that, folks. Don't take anything for granted.
Never, never, never. I never did.
Ever.
I never do.
No. Having said that, may all your apples be red.
And we hope to see you on Monday night.
I hope so.
All right.
I really do.
I'll buy you a cannoli.
Oh, that's sweet.
I can't afford seafood, but I'll buy you a cannoli.
Yeah. Take care.
That was the Art Report with Art Butchie Bartlett. And he's always got a good story. People enjoy hearing his story. I don't know if anybody's watching from far away tonight, looking for somebody to give us a buzz from a long distance tonight. From another state, another country. A couple people I know are visiting Ireland and Italy and other parts of Europe. Give us a buzz.
Buddy.
Give us a buzz, 978-537-7760, extension 3. That's it, and it puts us in touch, and we'll chat. Don't panic. I'll ask all the right questions.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's going on out there?
We're at the awards night now.
Oh, congratulations.
Everyone looks beautiful.
Where is it? In Franklin?
Hold on. Hello?
Where is the awards? You said Franklin? Where did you
Hello?
Where did you say the awards were tonight?
Hello, buddy. Yeah, it's in Rentham.
Rentham. Okay. Well, you have a good
Yes.
time, and congratulations.
Yeah.
And wear your seatbelt.
Yes, I will, and I'll suggest it for the free French fries tomorrow.
All right. Just go to McDonald's.
over and out.
If I get in that drive-up window, everybody's getting free French fries.
Yes, I know.
That's the way it goes.
So, do you think once we get my picture taken, I can submit it on your show?
Sure.
All right. Okay. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
10-4.
10-4.
Have fun.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.
978-537-7760, extension 3. And we're going to take a short break. I hope you're not at the Cannoli Fest because we had to cancel it again. Second time, third time's a charm. And that'll be coming up on Monday, October 14th. We were looking at Sunday, but we couldn't get enough vendors. It would have been cool because we had the Dining Under the Stars September 13th, full moon. This would have been October 13th, full moon. But anyway, we couldn't get enough vendors to come on Sunday night. So get whatever you need to get done. Get it out of the way, rake those leaves, go wherever you need to go during the day, and then 5 to 9 downtown in historic downtown Leominster. Taking a short break, and we'll be right back to talk about roads. People love talking about roads. We'll be right back. Good afternoon. We're at Orange Theory, and we're celebrating their one-year anniversary. They're up here with Target and Kohl's and everybody else. And 1 year has gone by really fast, but it still looks brand new in here. It's immaculate and clean. And so that's a success when you're in business for the first year, right?
Yes,
so
it is.
This is a chance to give yourself a little plug and tell people sort of the theory of Orange Theory here, like different than other places that are into physical fitness and training. So maybe you can kind of reacquaint everybody. And
Sure. I'm going to hand it over to our studio manager.
All right.
Sure. So the concept of Orange Theory is we really use heart rate-based training to give people the most effective and efficient one-hour workout. And my favorite thing about Orange Theory, and I think kind of what they stand for, is that it's a workout that's really made to be challenging but doable for people of any fitness level. So it doesn't matter if you've never worked out a day in your life or if you're a triathlete who goes and competes every weekend. The workout can be tailored to kind of meet you where you're at and then for us to help you kind of grow on your fitness journey from there.
look at that. Just like...
See, cut it down. I don't know. I've done it a time or two.
Well, anyway, we have a little citation here.
Thank
It's celebration of your one-year anniversary.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully people get a chance to come up and...
Yeah, everybody needs to come up and get their one free class.
One free class.
Yeah. Try
All
it
right.
out.
Hey, let's get come on up, and anybody else wants to jump in and take out a little picture. And this is, you can see on Leominster Access TV. Excellent job. Who put that together, by the way? Nice job. Guys, Keith and Brad did a great job. And I have to say, you know, for a while we were going out and visiting businesses, and it didn't get much of a feedback, you know, here and there. But I got to tell you, lately, the common thread that I've heard over and over is, how come you don't do those shows anymore where you go out into the businesses? And I said, well, we do the grand openings, but we just haven't gone back to other businesses. And so we decided, right, Carl? We decided that we would begin by, start it up again and head out and start going back to some of the businesses and talking with them. And there were a lot of new people in town, or maybe somebody's forgotten them. I went to Lance's last night, and sometimes you drive by and Lance's sits off to the back, and you might forget, you know, and there's so many restaurants and places to eat in town. So we want to get back out there and reacquaint you and ourselves with those businesses, you know, little mom and pops, and the holidays are coming up, and you know, just a little plug for the, you know, for the local people. When I was at an event last week at the Eagles, it was like it was a casino night. There must have been 50 baskets, and I went around to every single one of them. You know, you drop a ticket in them, you know, that sort of thing. And I walked around, and 95% of those baskets, out of the 3 rows of baskets, were all local businesses. And Michael's Run is this Saturday, and then the Gazbar Run and Walk is on Sunday. And again, looking at their donor list, it's 95% local companies or local businesses. So that is why it's so important to, you know, to shop. It doesn't mean you have to spend every penny at a local business, but, you know, move it around and spread it around and do as much as you possibly can. Anyway, let's talk about roads, because everybody likes to talk about roads. It's one of the things that we can all talk about. It's a good water cooler item to discuss. Everybody has an opinion about it. And also here with an opinion is Gordie Robertson. He's one of the engineers at the DPW. Gordie, thanks for coming on.
Well, my pleasure.
It's your season.
Sure is.
And let's talk a little bit about roads and a little bit of an understanding of roads, because people often wonder how exactly do we pick a road?
The many factors involved. Money is a big one. Every mile of road, on average, is about $350 grand. And that doesn't go very far when you only spend $1 million.
Right.
This year is double that, and we're in good shape. But that translates to about 15 sections of roads, not 15 complete roads.
Right,
but,
right. Just can't do it all.
No, but...
So looking back, one of the first streets we did, and you were here, is Grove Ave.
Yeah.
Remember, we built the walls, we did folk reclamation, We replaced the water lines, the sewer lines, built walls, sidewalks, granite curbing, concrete sidewalk. We did concrete, and we said this will be our real test, because this is rather than just put a little inch over everything.
Yeah.
And eventually, what happens is when you keep putting blacktop on, you go higher than people's driveways. Now you create a water problem for them. So we tried it out, and that had to be at least 20 years ago, maybe more.
Exactly 20 years ago last year.
And roads are not supposed to last more than 10, right? Is that the shelf life?
I'd like to think 15 if you
But we
care for
got
'em.
20 years
Yeah,
out
20
of
is
that.
excellent.
And it's still in good, it was in decent shape. We just did it over. But the sidewalks and the granite curbing, the walls are still in good
Yeah.
shape, which means when we do it that way, when we do all the infrastructure, we can't do as many streets as we could when we're just putting an inch down just to smooth it over.
That was $500,000 21 years ago.
Right.
3,000 feet long,
Right.
not even a mile.
Right.
So yeah, that puts it in perspective.
Yeah, but look at the return on our investment. We
Right.
didn't have to go back there until 20 years later.
Yeah, you get whatever, 30, 50%
That's-
longer life.
That's
so.
right, but it doesn't allow us to do as many streets. As I said, when we just put in a leveling course, it doesn't allow us to do as many streets, and that's how we've come up with this formula. But I was in a community this week, and I looked, and they had blacktop sidewalks and cement curbing, and I said, first snowstorm, that's gone.
Yep.
Just it'll be 2 or 3 years, and they'll be back to patching and resurfacing and whatever. So let me just say, like Smith Street. So the people who live on Smith Street, it's not in good condition. Smith
Not at
Street.
all.
We've all been down there. So, but when we put it on the list, we look for what additional work needs to be done there, because you can't use Chapter 90 money or the gas tax money to do a street and then tear it up after, because you're going to put, gas lines or
Correct.
water lines or whatever. So on Smith Street, for instance, there were a number of things that needed to be done before we could do that.
Oh yeah, drainage.
Drainage
is
is huge down there. That's going to cost us. That's not something that's budgeted. So we're going to have to attack that separately and then come back and,
Yep.
and when it settles.
Piecemeal that and then top your road.
Merriam Ave, just when you guys going to do something? But that's over a mile,
Uh-huh.
Merriam Ave, and everything had to be replaced. In fact, it's not done yet. The water line. How many crews are up there this year doing that water line? Because we just wanted to get it done.
Well, 2 contracted ones and lots of city guys helping, and
Right.
that's the last stretch though.
Right.
We paved the north end and we paved the downtown end and a section in between, and
So now the gas company's going to go out.
yeah.
And then we'll let it settle. And I don't think anything else has to be replaced out there. I think the drainage and everything is done, and we're in good shape, and then we'll let it settle and come back and pave it. But, so there are a lot of things, so people will say, well, what about my street? One thing is you can't use gas tax money if it's an unaccepted street.
That's right. It's got to be legally accepted, and that's a big word. It entails a lot.
And we're working to get streets that haven't been, in fact, we're on Duggan and Comstock now working. That's a street that we were able last year to get it accepted and get it passed by the council, so it's legally a city street. We're going to be working on Robin Road and Theodore, and now you're working on, I think they're working on Long Hill.
Oh, yeah.
And some of those streets they're working on. And so at this pace, if we can keep up this pace, doubling the amount of work that we've been doing and doing it correctly, we can do double the streets, but we don't have to go back and do those streets over in 5 years.
Yeah, right. No Band-Aids.
It's a little painful while we're waiting, but in the end, we'll eventually get ahead of the curve, and we'll hit the side streets, and we'll hit, we've put, I don't know how much sidewalks just everywhere, and it's starting to really show now. And,
Oh, yeah.
and people use them.
I notice.
Good topic tonight. Gordie Robertson is the DPW engineer, and his focus is right now and during the fall months is getting the streets paved and sidewalks in certain cases and other infrastructure that needs to be replaced. You can give us a buzz. This is like the high topic. This and where's your favorite pizza are the high topics on Facebook and social media. So I expect the phones to light up tonight.
Oh boy!
Because I just before we went on, I read a post, and this gentleman, very nicely written. He said, "I love what they're doing. We're beginning to get to that point where it's noticeable, where streets are smooth no matter where you go, for the most part. Certainly the mains. But he said, why do they have to make a 90-degree cut from when you go to the old pavement to the new pavement? Why can't they make something more gradual?
They can. It's more work and time. And what we do is we do the 90-degree cut, and then we feather in some asphalt to make a small ramp. But it doesn't last. And the idea is we should be back within the week to top coat it. And a lot of times that doesn't happen.
Right, like the weather.
Ideally, it should be done in a few days. But a ramp buys you a week or two.
Right.
And then that cracks and crumbles. And
Right. Well, our recommendation is, well, the other thing I thought is that one thing it does is it slows you down. So when you have to go around, maneuver around those, raised structures, you've already slowed down. Now, over the route on the connector, Interstate 190 connector, all the way at the end of Mechanic Street, they're working over the bridge that goes over Nashua Street. The head of the Highway Division for MassDOT lives locally and called me one day and he said, hey, I don't know, he had his kids with him or something coming out of the mall, and he said, geez, you see he says, you notice the sidewalls, the concrete walls over the bridge? And I said, yeah, the salt's really beginning to eat them away. And he said, well, before the end of the year, and this is a couple months ago, we'll get some crews out there. And so they have been working out there, but there's some drastic, so I did call, there's some nasty, I expect there's going to be a little bit of a, boom, boom.
Yeah, right.
These are pretty drastic. And so it looks like now they're beginning to work on the side pots, and they're probably not going to pave it. So we'll see if we can get MassDOT to go out there and take, another rainstorm, and you're going to have to do 5 miles an hour to get around there. And so that's not our particular, we advocate for the project, but it's not our project, but we don't want people to have, remember the old days, Gordie, claims against the city were $50,
yeah, right.
100,
yeah.
200. Now we see them, they're into the thousands.
Yeah, right.
So we've done Main Street, past the old Kentucky Fried Chicken, over to the Route 2 area.
Yep.
They're the cemetery, all done. North Main Street they did yesterday.
Yeah.
North Street, they're moving along. Wendy
Yep.
said they're just moving along really nicely there. Of course, that's one long stretch. They're going through 3 communities. That was a big job.
Highland Ave
Highland Ave
was capped
unbelievable.
Monday.
And the sidewalks now are done up there, and they loop around to Nelson Street.
Yeah, granite curbing, cement, concrete, makes a great loop.
Once I stood at the bottom of Nelson Street where CVS is, Watertower Plaza, and I just looked up, and I'm like, I can't believe how big that hill is. Like, it's huge. It's like a ski area. And we did that all in one swipe. Again, that was probably $300,000-$400,000 just for that, not counting the sidewalk. So we can get into a street where you're going to spend almost $1 million between water, sewer,
Easily.
drainage, granite curbing, concrete sidewalks. Easily, and then put the blacktop down. Merriam Ave, for sure, will have spent millions, by the time we're through.
Oh, yeah. That's a wider than average road.
Which we're going to narrow.
Yeah.
So I talked to Ray about a little bit is start thinking about narrowing it down, and maybe a designated bike path there. Or one thing that, I hate to use blacktop, but what they did around Sterling, where those roundabouts are, is they put I don't know where these things are going because there's no connection, but I figured they put it in and maybe the town can connect it. But they have, looks like a 7-foot wide or 8-foot wide blacktop sidewalk / bike path.
Multi-use path of
right.
sorts.
Everybody whizzes by with little scooters or whatever. So that seemed to do it. Okay, so take us ahead. We're going to Duggan Drive, Comstock, which is off of Union.
Yeah, we opened Duggan Drive today by removing the manholes so they can full depth reclaim like we did Grove Ave. That's full depth. And we're just going to make gravel in place and put 2 thick layers back on top and improve everything underneath.
That was really bad. I was there today. It was remember that day we went down with the neighbors?
Oh, yeah.
They almost didn't have a road left. Literally, there was nothing left. Theater is like that. Robin Road's like that. There are a number of streets that are, Linder.
I'd like to do more that way, but
I know.
it adds exponentially.
Right. Well, so we just got to we're catching up, though, I think, doubling the amount. You know, I went to the council and said, look, we're never going to get it. So we've got to be in agreement on this. We're going to have to spend more money than we've ever spent. But you're going to notice the difference. And I think this fall, you know, between what we did last fall, this spring, and then this fall, I think, you know, this year, next year, in the spring, what we don't get done this year, people are going to really notice.
No question.
How much work we got done and how noticeable it is. And so we've got those areas. Anywhere else, if the weather cooperates, any other streets that we might?
Well, we still have a lot of work left on the streets that we say are done with.
Yep.
Line striping, loam and seed, handwork.
Yeah,
Cleaning
like
of the
Highland
catch
Ave, we're not
basins.
done up there, done. We just put so
That's
there's a lot
right.
of other work that you have to go back and
Just,
finish.
there are 27 items
That
in the
have to be
base
done.
bid, and we're done with maybe half of that.
Right.
They're little things, but it takes time.
Right. And then Mount Pleasant Ave, we might put on hold.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity there.
Yeah. So I guess they haven't. Well, I guess they're going to tear a building down. So that means they're going to have to rip up the street to get everything out. That's fine. Maybe have to delay that. Or if the weather's good, maybe we'll replace it with something. And then Willard Street. Let's talk about Willard Street because
Willard's a big guy.
I use as an example here is we're ready to pave it, and then all of a sudden out there doing field work, and we find the culvert sunk.
Yeah. 3 of them, as a matter of fact, are rotting in place. And
by the way, they were much larger. I drive over there all the time, and I just never realized it until they were done how big those culverts were.
Yep. That's one of those underground things you can't pave over. Those heavy machines will probably do them in.
Especially that street.
Yeah.
And those people have been the neighbors there have been patient because they got all those moving trucks and all the trucks in the factories and people cutting between 13 and 117. I'm sorry, 12 and 117. And it's been hell down there for them. But we need to do it right, so we had to go back and find $300,000, which we didn't have, get that appropriated, bid it out, then go to the Conservation Commission, get it cleared through them, and then bid the work, award the work, and then Blue Diamond did a good job down there.
Very good. Then when we do that section, Willard Street will be complete.
Yeah,
Town
from
line
end to end,
to
from
end,
Sterling
yeah.
to the other side of it.
And that's a long road.
It is,
And it
and we
should
had to do it
last.
in pieces, you know.
Yep.
And then we'll be putting another updated list together for next year. And if you have a suggestion for us, we take them all, we bundle them all up. Then when the time comes, we look at, again, we go through that process of evaluating which street is the worst, right?
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
the old days that I used to say, look, we used to divide it up, and we'll do a street in this ward, and a street in that ward, and a street in that ward. We never got anywhere. So what we said is, we got to get the streets that are the worst, right? So we went to this new system of kind of triage, right? Worst first, and again, making sure that everything is done and cleared and ready to go, but also got us to pay attention to underground infrastructure that needed to be replaced. So we've upped the spending on that as well. 978-537-7760, extension 3. Gordie Robertson, DPW engineer, is with me. And as he said, there are 17 items on the checklist on a project. And so just because we put the base coat on and we paved it doesn't mean we're done. The sidewalks. Did some on 5th and Cedar near emergency management. Did a bunch of those sidewalks, mostly handicap.
Yeah.
So the other day, I don't know if it seems as though we're a designated area for certain nonprofits or social service agencies who train and help to assimilate part of their training program, people who become sighted. So I saw a very young gentleman there the other day. I don't know if he was in his late teens or early 20s, but he had his stick, and they take him out and so that they can get used to traffic signals and ramps and all that. And oftentimes, well, quite often I see him downtown. But I always cringed before because there were a lot of sections that weren't really handicap or full access to everyone. So we did 29 different ramps is what happened. So they pulled them all out so we had a ramp on one side, and you could get off with a wheelchair. And then you go across the street in a crosswalk, and it'd be granite. It would just stop. So we've fixed 29 of those. There's one more left downtown, and I think they've completed. They have a couple more they're going to do, but so we're getting there in that regards. But we did a ton of sidewalks last year, so it's coming together. I think people will notice another season of this, and I think most of the mains will be done, and we'll really begin to hit the secondary roads. Places like Sylvan Ave, which need some infrastructure, right?
And that's in the works currently. Yeah.
So,
but that's a big connector road. That is high on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. So we're coming. We didn't forget you, right?
Not at all.
We're well aware. I mean, we're out all the time looking at these streets, but if there's somewhere, there are a few streets I see. I think Mount Pleasant was one of them where there's no real. It was the old days when they used to put down. The oil truck would come,
oil and sand,
and then another layer of oil, and then everything would be dirty for the next 6 months, and that was how they paved the roads. So the couple streets I see that are still like that.
Yeah.
There aren't many. Oh, you did up at the end of Exchange Street.
Yeah.
And Granite Street.
Yeah.
Right.
Far end. Yeah.
From end to end, that's a big street, Granite Street.
6,000 feet. That's a very long road.
And so that's going to get paved next week, probably.
The castings come up next week.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of jackhammer work next week.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. You're right.
The weather looks good. It's holding 55, 65. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, if there are no callers that want to call, all the time when I'm on social media, it's one after another about their street or whatever. And no, we didn't forget you. As I said, let me just check because maybe somebody's okay. We didn't forget you. We're always having people remind us about particular streets, but we didn't forget you. We're well aware, and we want to get to your street. We just got to make sure there's not unlimited funds, although we've doubled the amount that we're spending. And once you get those big streets out of the way, the long streets, then you could do a lot in the neighborhoods, like Cumberland Road.
Yeah, that whole neighborhood.
That whole neighborhood needs to get done.
In need.
And so, but you could type a lot of blacktop. But once Sylvan's done, a lot of those connector streets, then you can start to hit some of the neighborhoods, and it's really going to matter. I mean, you're some of those neighborhoods aren't that big, so when you hit them, and it's not costing you. You're not doing 6,000 feet like you are Granite Street or Union Street or.
No, that's coming. It's coming.
By the way, you're doing part of Pleasant Street.
We are. Where?
Well, they're up there doing unless that's a gas job. I thought we were doing Lower Pleasant.
Oh yeah, the gas. We can go in after them.
No, but I thought that was on the list, Lower Pleasant. If not, then
it's on the 100.
Okay, I thought they were doing it. I'm trying to think of where else that was on the list that we were doing. I know there's a couple more that we forgot, but that's okay.
Well, Orchard, Walnut, and Grove.
Right.
Right after the gas company. Willard, right after the gas company.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Okay. Hey, thank you, Gordie, for coming on. Appreciate it. We'll be right back out there tomorrow. And it's hard because the weather, you can't. If it gets too cold, you can't pave. If it's really raining hard, that's counterproductive, so you can't get out there. So, we're moving as fast as we can, and fingers crossed we'll have another good couple weeks and get the rest of the work done.
I'm confident of that.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think we will. Well, anyway, thank you, Gordie. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
We are going to take a short break, and then we're coming back with photos of the week. And look at that, we've got 21, Gordie, photos
21.
of the week. Awesome. Taking a short break. Be right back here at Inside Leominster. So it was supposed to rain today, but because there was going to be a grand opening here with Edward Jones, they got connections and they had it postponed. So if you want good planning, future, stop down. I'll tell you what the weather is and invest in money properly, right?
Yes,
See, all kinds in.
Yeah.
And if you can make it not rain for the Cannoli Fest, you got your own color ribbon?
Ready, Fisher?
Here I come.
Push out.
All right. You didn't even have to wait for the 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
This man knows exactly what's going on. We got a little citation here. On behalf of everybody here and Leominster community, we're happy you chose Leominster. We're happy you looked around.
Yeah.
You got a beautiful location and you did a great job inside. So,
All right, well, thank you.
for all our Edward Jones friends, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right.
Oh. Hey, look at him. Hold on, Sean. You don't want to be a giant in the back. All right, don't want anybody to go anywhere.
And I just, on behalf of your friends from the Neshoba Valley Chamber, we've asked everybody that's present here today, if you haven't yet signed, please take a moment and sign. We just have a certificate of congratulations from all of your friends that are here on behalf of the Chamber and the community.
All right, thank you. I wanted to thank everybody for coming out today and supporting me in the open house. I want to thank the mayor, Dean Mazzarella, his staff, and Michelle with the Neshoba Valley Chamber of Commerce, friends and family that came out here today. And did everybody know that the mayor is currently in his 11th term, and he's the longest serving mayor in Leominster history. So a big round of applause for the mayor.
Actually, that's looking too, right? Oh, yeah, he does look all right. And the poorest one.
Well, earlier the mayor was telling me that when he first was elected to office, he had a city employee that would sit at his desk, and then he would have papers come to his desk that he would review. He would look at them to determine what city department they would go to. Then he would initial them and then send them along their way. Well, one day, a classified document comes to his desk.
This better be a joke.
So he looks at the document, he initials it, and he sends it off. 24 hours later, the document reappears at the man's desk with a note attached to it saying, "You shouldn't have read this document. Please erase your initials and then initial the erasure." So,
See, I know you were lying about. I knew you were telling a story because not 24 hours, 6 hours. Not 24.
So, but I want to thank you all for coming out. It's good that we celebrate community events because community represents the very best in all of us. Our culture, our values, our uniqueness. The mayor's here today to support business, and I'm here every day to serve the people of Leominster, to help them reach their goals in life, and help them spend more quality time with their families. So thank you all, and let's enjoy some great food from Paisano.
All right. Hey, here you go. Keep it local. There we go. And we're back here at Inside Leominster live tonight. Cannoli Fest. It's amazing how people just love this event. Coming up Monday night, October 14th, 5 to 9 downtown. And I think we're going to have a better time than if we had it originally or even tonight. So I think just it's not going to be a work day for a lot of people. Some will be, school will be out, so people can get things done, do whatever it is they need to do during the daytime, and we'll have some fun there. So just pass the word if you can, and just let other people know that it was canceled again and moved to the 14th. And we looked at the long-range forecast, and we just got to go with it at this point. So anyway, we're back. And, well, in a minute we'll do photos of the week, but I was just going to say Edward Jones is across the street from here. I think we did like 3 grand openings that day. We have a bunch more coming up as well. And, you know, there's not a whole lot of empty space. And it's at this point, when we look back, I don't know, we go back 50, 60 years, we are at, our vacancy rate is probably the lowest it's been, and that's in terms of housing, certainly for apartments. For residential, and a short supply of single-family homes. But when you get to industrial and commercial and retail space, even a little mom and pops, there are some, but I mean very few. And it's the lowest rate we've ever had, and more businesses coming. I think we picked up 2 or 3 just downtown in the last month or 2. So that means good things happening here in the city, and it's pretty exciting. It'll never be like it was before, right? It'll never be Feeney's Shoe Store. It'll never be that kind of a thing. But I think our overall goal is to bring back stores and retail and mom and pop shops. So it doesn't mean that you'll never see a ladies' dress shop or a men's store or a kids' clothing place or a shoe store. But you probably won't see a place as big as Stewart's Shoes or Student Brothers or a place like Feeney's where it was probably a couple thousand square feet, and they had some space downstairs. That might not happen, but you'll see more specialty stores come back, and Leominster is perfectly situated for that because even the stores where Western Auto was and some of those other locations, they've already been separated. So generally businesses that are coming in, retail, aren't looking for maybe a restaurant, but retail, they're actually looking for between 500 square feet and say 1,000 or 1,500 at the most. Well, when you have all that other space, I'm trying to read my emails here. When you have all that extra space, it's too big for a lot of small businesses today. So that's part of the problem, I think, in Fitchburg and other cities is where Park Snows was. They tore that building down, but there's just, the buildings are so huge. And who's going to, usually the owners of the buildings are older and aren't going to go out and borrow $1 million or $500,000 to start investing back into those buildings. And there's no grant money to help them. And so what happens is you end up with a lot of big space that you can't fill. Property owners here in the Leominster have been encouraged by us to kind of chop it up, make smaller spaces, and it seems to work. So the vision for downtown is to bring back shopping experience, food experience, and it's working. The restaurants doing well. The banks, there's more and more businesses moving to the downtown that aren't exactly retail, but when they move downtown, they bring people and employees and people that visit them, and they go back to their hometown if they don't live here, and kind of spread the word that you've got to come downtown. It looks beautiful, like you heard Art say. Visitors that have been here in 60 years came here and were just shocked by it all. Anyway, let's do photos of the week. Breaking news, mobile homes destroyed in Southern California town as wildfires intensify. That's sad, and they had to turn the power off out there. Pretty sad. Here we go. Just call after call, and Sally and team help with the rec department, the mayor's office, DPW, everybody working as a team, and this is what gets done, right? This is what happens. And I was in the Boston Garden and the public gardens waiting between meetings a couple of weeks ago. Listen, I always thought it was spectacular. It still is, but I walked through, and I walked by the swan boats, and there were some areas that were really just breathtaking. But I gotta say, we're getting there. We are getting there. Our stuff is so much healthier this summer, and anyway, just beautiful. More flowers. That building at TD has been purchased by Vinny Capobasso, and he's already started working on the building, working inside, outside, landscaped it, did the parking lots over, tore out all the old shrubbery that was half dead to begin with, and old bark mulch, and it's really shaping up. And then he's got some new tenants moving in, and again, that means more people, and that's all good stuff. And AIS is the company that bought the old Tucker manufacturing building, about 600,000 square feet. It's amazing to go in there. It's just great to see a building just humming along with employees from working 3 shifts. And so the governor came down for manufacturing week, and we took a tour of the building. And really, it's a nice event. And there's Bruce Platzman there from AIS. And they are great community members to us and in the whole city, and really strive to hire as many local people as they can, but local contractors. And I'd say 80–90% of the people they hired to renovate that building there were all local people. And there's our 1-year anniversary of Orange Theory. We did a little clip on that. Congratulations to them. That's a hefty investment they made there in that business. And anybody that owns a small business or has ever owned one, or is one in your family, the investment and the time that you have to put in it, you always worry about. You're optimistic, but you're always worried. Is this thing's going to turn the other way? Is somebody else going to come in and take market share? Did I make the right decision? And I have a lot of money to pay back. And there we are at Edward Jones. Again, we just came from another video of them, and so congratulations to them. That's 3 Edward Jones here in the city. And let me tell you, we went for a long time with just one. What it means, though, is they drill down into the data, and they know exactly where, the demographics of the city and who lives here. And that's saying something when you see so many banks in town, and you see 3, and I understand another Edward Jones there. And somebody's saying downtown is very quaint, and now. And what else did she say? That's Ruth. And she says, it's really nice to walk around and shop at the little stores. I would love to see more housing come to downtown. But anyway, there's the UFO conference, and Willie and Sue and their team does a great job. They've got some guests who come in and speakers that are nationally known and well, known all over the world, really. So they did a great job, and happy to have them here for the UFO conference. We did the NAMI Candlelight Vigil. There I am with the state representative, Natalie Higgins. And every year we whether it's one person that shows up to these candlelight vigils or 100 or two, we do it. This particular night, a little cool but nice. We had a warm day, so it was nice. And anyway, we read the proclamation and just create and help to create awareness like NAMI does every year and all the time in their life to create the issue of Mental Health Awareness Month. Boy, I'll tell you, if you missed this concert, I hope you, Ronnie was there, and I hope you got a chance to see this. They were just, Carl, you would have loved it. Your father would have just, he would have never wanted to leave the building. He would have got up there and wanted to play with them, right? And just, you know, Gene Koresha and all them, they would just been thrilled to see this. Anyway, what a great night. I'll tell you, they just made that auditorium hum. So thanks to them. And there we are at Catholic Charities ribbon cutting, and they're going to be running a recovery center down there for women in the old rectory. People ask me, are they going into school? I'm like, no, they're going into the rectory. And you know, what's most important about this is they have a great team, great staff, and that's really what makes it. That's what makes or breaks organizations and nonprofits and even municipal governments. And we had the National Overdose Awareness Month. This is our first, and we did it here in Leominster this year, and we had some good speakers, and our district attorney came out as well. And so anyway, you know, I hope someday we don't have to have this. It's just a memorial of those that we lost, but it's a lot of people working real hard. We have really committed to those in need, and we have a great team, both in the police department, other social service agencies, the mayor's office. We work hand in hand. The fire department, you know, our motto is really simple. We don't give up on anybody. And there's the kickoff meeting to MVP program. We were just talking about extreme weather conditions, and we've had quite a few. And in order so what the state's done is they've taken all these little pockets of money and put them in one spot. And so there is a series of things that one needs to do to be able to apply for the money, for the new bigger pockets of money. And one of it is bringing departments together. And very soon we'll be asking the community to participate. And there's some training involved, some sort of planning charrette. So this was the kickoff meeting. And there we are. Carter Building is moving forward. We did the lottery a couple of weeks ago. The windows in it, it's really, you know, Aldrich's cousin, the old principal at the high school, he would have been so thrilled. And I know there are a number of other alumni and, you know, people that taught there, administrators, people that used to live there. It's really beginning. If you hold an old picture up of Carter and take a look at it, it's quite amazing to see that, you know, this building is like coming back to life right in front of our eyes. So pretty exciting. And there we are, utility work on Central Street. I believe this is the contractor that's going to be tearing down all the buildings for the police station is, I believe, applied for his demo permit. And one of the things is that you have to shut off all of the utilities. You have to cut them off in the street before they start demolition. Walnut Street, again, utility work there on Walnut Street. Again, we hope to get back there and pave once we're finally done tearing up Walnut Street, but there's a new gas lines there going in. We are paving. We just had Gordie Robertson on from the DPW talking all about that. Final paving of Highland Ave is the final coat. Again, there are a number of things that need to be done. Spreading some loom on the sides where we had to dig out. Little areas that we have to kind of pave between the street and your driveway, so more work to come. North Street, look at that. It's just amazing, huh? $9 million project on basically a feeder road was what we call it, a side street. Doesn't happen. In my days at MassDOT, we don't hand out too much money for areas like that. And then Granite Street paving again. Hopefully the structure will be raised next week, but it is a long street, 6,000 feet. and then pavement. But we hope to have that wrapped up by the end of October. North Main Street's nice and smooth. They'll be out there next week to put the lines. It'll look really spectacular. And then Main Street, same thing. And don't forget, Dugan Drive, we're out there now. I don't think those people ever thought we're coming. But we have a number of streets that we have to pick up on that. But let me just go back, if you don't mind. Just go back. I was just saying Main Street and paving, that, you know, we try to mark the roads as best we can, but when we mark them, it really does help people. I notice on a foggy, rainy night, when you got that white fog line on the right, it really does help. So we'll be back out there to do those lines. Now, don't forget, on top of all this, we have in front of Water Tower Plaza, that project that needs to be done, that's $6 million. We have Main Street near the National Guard Armory, that's another $6 million. We haven't got the final number on Route 12 South going towards El Camino in that area, but that's coming up. And so we have like 3 or 4 big major projects that are going to be done, and we'll coordinate those to make sure they don't all happen at once. Don't forget, Shoalin Farms is open 10 to 5 every day. Get up there and get their apples. Just incredible, Carl. All the different apples are like all ready all at once. McGowan's are ready if you're one of those. You did? Great. I got some last week. Get some acorn squash, too, by the way. Emergency Management is hosting their open house this Saturday from 10 to 3. Michael's Run, October 12th at the Eagles at 10. I'll be there at Gazbar 5K. That's Sunday, October 13th at 10:30. Cannoli Fest, October 14th, 5 to 9. Shoalin Farms Harvest Fest is this weekend. Evergreen Cemetery Tour with Mark Bonanza is next week on the 19th. The Halloween Parade is early this year. Get ready. Get those kids out there and get those costumes. It's 1 to 3 on the 19th. So not this coming Saturday. No, wait a minute. No, not this coming Saturday, the following Saturday. So make sure you get out there. And the number 6 Schoolhouse Historic Talk is on the 21st. And there are a whole bunch of things that are happening in the month of, well, November, December, and you know what happens there. But out of time here at Inside Leominster, I want you to thank the whole crew that comes in every Thursday night. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You need to show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com. And by Medical Arts Hearing Instruments, 52 West Street in Leominster, locally and authentically providing better hearing and quality of life since 1978. www.donot shout.com.